Imagine an ancient Roman battlefield where the fate of empires is decided by brute force and sharp strategy. But beyond the soldiers, beyond the catapults and legions, there is a secret weapon that cuts through the skies with grace and power. Majestic birds of prey, especially falcons and eagles. These magnificent predators were not just symbols of power and victory, but played crucial roles in reconnaissance and communication during Roman military campaigns. In the vast tapestry of Roman military history, eagles were not merely emblems carried by legion standards. They were eyes in the sky, winged messengers, and symbols of divine authority. The Romans' ability to train and utilize these birds in military and ceremonial contexts reveals a fascinating facet of their ingenuity and reverence for nature. While falcons flew on reconnaissance missions, mapping enemy territories and bringing back vital information, eagles inspired fear and admiration, representing the indomitable spirit of Rome. In ceremonies, their presence not only reinforced Roman might, but also connected soldiers to a profound symbolism of victory and divine protection. In this video, we will explore this intriguing and little-known practice. We will uncover how the Romans integrated these extraordinary birds into their military strategies and celebrations, weaving a narrative that is as exciting as it is educational. Get ready to discover how falcons and eagles, much more than symbols, were true winged warriors of the Roman army. Birds of prey in Roman military history. Imagine yourself in ancient Rome, where war was a constant and every advantage was crucial. Birds of prey, with their majesty and power, quickly found a place in Roman military strategy. This wasn't just a symbolic choice. The use of these birds was a testament to the Romans' ingenuity and adaptability. Eagles and falcons were trained to carry out reconnaissance missions, providing a view of enemy terrain that no other technology of the time could offer. These birds were not just tools. They symbolized the strength and supremacy of Rome. The Roman legions, famous for their discipline and effectiveness, found in birds of prey allies that shared their traits of precision and power. The symbiosis between the Roman soldier and his bird of prey reflected a deep understanding of nature and an ability to use all available resources for war. Birds of prey also played a crucial role in communication during battles. Messages that needed to be delivered quickly could be entrusted to these swift-winged messengers, who could fly above the chaos of battle and reach their destination with a precision that human messengers could not match. This practice of winged communication was an innovation that put the Romans ahead of many of their adversaries. The Romans were not the first to recognize the value of birds of prey in military contexts, but they certainly refined and systematized their use. The efficiency with which they integrated these birds into their war tactics speaks volumes about the Romans' ability to learn from other cultures and improve these practices with an almost scientific precision. Moreover, the use of birds of prey also had a psychological impact. The presence of falcons and eagles on the battlefield could demoralize enemies, who saw these birds as harbingers of imminent defeat. The sight of an eagle soaring above the Roman legions was a constant reminder of Rome's might and invincibility. In the end, the Romans' relationship with these birds was a microcosm of their broader view of the natural world. They saw nature as something to be mastered and utilized for the benefit of humanity. In the case of birds of prey, this meant transforming them from wild creatures into vital components of the Roman war machine. Training and use of falcons for reconnaissance. The training of falcons for reconnaissance missions was both an art and a science in ancient Rome. The Romans developed sophisticated techniques to train these birds to obey commands and perform specific tasks. Falcons were particularly valuable for their exceptional visual acuity and their ability to fly long distances quickly. These birds could map enemy territories and identify strategic points, allowing Roman commanders to make informed decisions about their movements. Falcon trainers, known as falconers, were highly respected. They spent years learning to understand the behavior of the birds and developing methods to train them effectively. The bond between a falcon and its falconer was crucial. The bird needed to trust its trainer completely to follow orders on the battlefield. In addition to reconnaissance, falcons were used to hunt small animals that served as food for the soldiers. The ability to provide fresh food during long campaigns far from traditional supply lines was a logistical advantage that could not be underestimated. These birds, with their ability to hunt and capture prey, were a valuable resource in multiple aspects of military campaigns. A falcon's ability to observe and report information about enemy movements also made it a vital intelligence tool. The Romans could rely on falcons to identify ambushes and weak points in enemy defenses. This capability to anticipate and react quickly to threats was a significant advantage on the battlefield. Training these birds involved a rigorous regime of discipline and practice. From a young age, falcons were exposed to controlled environments that simulated battlefield conditions. They learned to ignore distractions and focus on their tasks, becoming extensions of the eyes and ears of Roman commanders. The use of falcons also required a deep understanding of their natural behavior. The Romans studied the flight patterns, hunting habits, and communication signals of falcons to maximize their effectiveness. This knowledge allowed falconers to adapt their training techniques and utilize the birds in ways that took full advantage of their natural abilities. Eagles, symbols of power and divine authority. Eagles held a special place in Roman military iconography, not just as animals, but as profound symbols of power and divine authority. Each Roman legion possessed a standard bearing the image of a golden eagle, known as the aquila. This standard was not merely a symbol but a sacred talisman representing the spirit of the legion and its loyalty to the emperor and Rome. Losing the aquila in battle was considered the ultimate disgrace, and legions would do anything to recover it. The eagle symbol was so powerful that its presence on the battlefield could inspire Roman soldiers and intimidate their enemies. The eagle was seen as an intermediary between the gods and men, a sign that the heavens were on Rome's side. The training and care of the eagles used in ceremonial contexts were meticulous. Only the best falconers could become guardians of these sacred birds. They were responsible not only for the well-being of the eagles, but also for ensuring they were always ready to participate in military ceremonies, where their presence was essential. Beyond its military symbolism, the eagle was also associated with the god Jupiter, the most powerful of the Roman gods. It was believed that Jupiter would take the form of an eagle to descend to Earth, further reinforcing the symbolic power of these birds. In many accounts, the sight of an eagle was interpreted as a sign of divine blessing or approval. Eagles also played a role in rituals and auguries. The Romans believed they could predict the outcomes of battles by observing the behavior of eagles. Before major campaigns, priests specialized in augury would study the flight of eagles to interpret the god's will. An eagle flying high and free was a good omen, while an eagle flying low or behaving erratically could indicate impending trouble. In everyday life, eagles were a constant presence in Roman art and literature. They appeared on coins, statues, and mosaics, always as symbols of power, victory, and divine protection. The image of the eagle transcended the battlefield, becoming an enduring emblem of the Roman Empire. Winged communication, messengers of the sky. Efficient communication was essential for coordinating the vast Roman military operations, and birds of prey played a surprising role in this aspect. By using trained falcons and eagles, the Romans developed a communication system that could surpass the limitations of human messengers, especially in difficult terrains and during intense combat. Falcons, with their speed and ability to fly long distances quickly, were ideal for transporting short, critical messages between different parts of an army or fortress. These birds were trained to return to their point of origin after delivery, ensuring that communication was both swift and secure. The use of falcons for urgent messages allowed Roman commanders to respond more agilely to changes on the battlefield. In addition to transporting messages, birds could also carry small objects, such as rings or seals, that confirmed the authenticity of the delivered message. This practice helped prevent fraud and ensured that orders came from a reliable source. Training for these specific tasks involved a rigorous process, where the birds learned to associate successful delivery with rewards, creating an efficient system of motivation and response. The use of eagles in communication had a more symbolic and ceremonial dimension. In times of great importance, such as the summoning of troops for a decisive battle or the proclamation of a victory, eagles were sent as divine messengers. The arrival of an eagle carrying a message was seen as a sign that the gods were involved in supporting the Roman cause. The use of birds for communication was not limited to the battlefield. In times of peace, falcons were used to maintain contact between different parts of the empire, facilitating governance and administration. The ability to send quick and secure messages was crucial for maintaining order and efficiently implementing imperial policies. The Romans also exploited the natural behavior of birds of prey to improve their communication techniques. Studies on the migration patterns and hunting habits of falcons helped refine training methods and ensure that the birds could reliably perform their tasks even in adverse conditions. This deep understanding of avian biology and its practical application was a testament to Roman pragmatism. Ultimately, winged communication contributed to the image of the Romans as masters not only of war but also of technology and innovation. The ability to integrate elements of nature into complex communication and logistics systems highlighted Roman ingenuity and adaptability. The ceremonial role of eagles in the legions. Eagles played an essential ceremonial role in the Roman legions, not just as emblems of power, but as central figures in rituals that reinforced troop cohesion and morale. Each legion had its own eagle, and the presence of this bird in important ceremonies was a constant reminder of Rome's glory and invincibility. The aquila was kept in a place of honor and guarded by a specially designated officer, the aquilifer. This officer was responsible for protecting the standard with his life, and losing the aquila in battle was considered such a disgrace that it could lead to the dissolution of the legion. The recovery of a lost aquila was a cause for great celebration and was seen as a sign of redemption and restoration of honor. During departure ceremonies for war, the eagle was carried at the front of the troops, symbolizing the god's blessing and the promise of victory. Soldiers looked to the eagle with reverence, believing it brought divine strength and protection to the battle. The presence of the eagle also helped unite the soldiers in a common purpose, strengthening their resolve and courage. In times of victory, the eagle was central to celebrations. Roman triumphs, which were grand victory parades, always included the eagle of the victorious legion. This symbol not only represented military success, but also served as a reminder of the connection between the soldiers, their commander, and the gods. Eagles were also present in augury rituals, where Roman priests interpreted divine signs before major battles or important political decisions. Observing the behavior of eagles during these rituals was considered a form of direct communication with the gods. An eagle flying high and free was seen as a good omen, while abnormal behaviors could be interpreted as warnings. Beyond their ceremonial functions, the eagle also played a role in maintaining troop discipline and morale. The constant presence of the aquila reminded soldiers of their duty and loyalty to Rome, encouraging them to fight with bravery and honor. Thus, the eagle was much more than a symbol. It was a catalyst for cohesion and motivation within the legions. Finally, the symbolism of the eagle transcended military boundaries, influencing Roman culture as a whole. The image of the eagle was an icon of power and divinity that permeated all aspects of Roman life, from art and literature to currency and architecture. This ubiquity reinforced the central role of the eagle as a symbol of eternal and invincible Rome. Military strategies, integrating birds of prey in campaigns. The use of birds of prey in Roman military campaigns was a carefully planned and executed strategy. The Roman legions, known for their discipline and organization, incorporated these birds into their war tactics in ways that maximized their natural abilities and served Rome's military objectives. Falcons were particularly useful for reconnaissance missions. Trained to fly long distances and return with critical information, they helped Roman commanders map enemy terrain and identify strategic points. Falcons could observe troop movements, identify ambushes, and locate resources such as water sources and supply routes. This ability to obtain precise, real-time information was a significant strategic advantage. Beyond reconnaissance, falcons also played a role in disorienting and intimidating enemy troops. A coordinated attack involving falcons trained to dive at enemy soldiers could create chaos and panic, giving the Roman legions a psychological edge. The sight of falcons attacking from the sky was a constant reminder of Rome's presence and its ability to control even nature. Eagles, on the other hand, were used in ways that reinforced their powerful symbolism. During important battles, the presence of eagles trained to soar over the battlefield served as a harbinger of victory and a source of inspiration for Roman soldiers. The eagle, seen as an emblem of divine protection, was believed to bring the gods' blessing to the fight. In prolonged campaigns, birds of prey also aided in maintaining communication lines. Crucial messages could be delivered quickly by trained falcons, flying between different detachments and command posts. This ability to send and receive information swiftly was vital for coordinating large-scale military operations. Moreover, training birds of prey for these purposes was a meticulous process requiring patience and skill. Roman falconers developed specific techniques for each type of mission, ensuring that the birds were ready to perform their tasks under any circumstances. The dedication of these trainers and the quality of the training were essential to the success of military operations. Symbolism of birds of prey in Roman mythology. In Roman mythology, birds of prey, especially eagles, held a prominent place as symbols of power, majesty, and divine connection. The figure of the eagle was closely associated with the god Jupiter, the king of the gods, who was often depicted with an eagle by his side or taking the form of this powerful bird. The eagle was seen as Jupiter's messenger, capable of conveying his wishes and commands to mortals. This symbolism was reflected in military practice, where the legion's Aquila was considered an intermediary between the emperor and the gods. The presence of the eagle in battle was interpreted as a sign that Jupiter favored the Romans, boosting the troops' morale and determination. In addition to Jupiter, other Roman deities were also associated with birds of prey. Mars, the god of war, was often depicted with falcons, symbolizing the ferocity and agility needed for victory in combat. These birds, with their ability to hunt and capture prey, were seen as emblems of military strength and strategy. Myths and stories involving birds of prey often highlighted their wisdom and vision. The visual acuity of eagles, for example, was a metaphor for clairvoyance and divine perception. These birds were believed to have the ability to see beyond the obvious and predict the future, attributes that the Romans aspired to in their leaders and commanders. In Roman literature, birds of prey were used as symbols of omen. The sighting of an eagle at a crucial moment could be interpreted as a positive or negative sign, depending on the circumstances. Roman poets and historians used these images to enrich their narratives, adding a layer of mystical meaning to historical events. Finally, the symbolism of birds of prey also extended to Roman art and architecture. Eagles and falcons were sculpted on monuments, coins, and public buildings, serving as constant reminders of power and divine protection. The ubiquity of these images in everyday life reinforced the central role of birds of prey in Roman culture and identity. Moreover, the legacy of birds of prey in Roman mythology influenced future generations. The iconography of the eagle, in particular, continued to be a symbol of power and authority long after the decline of the Roman Empire. In many Western cultures, the eagle is still seen as an emblem of strength and majesty, a lasting testament to the cultural impact of the Romans.